we knew about this before COVID, but the entire world knows about it now because of COVID. Students that were dependent on an internet connection to do their homework, they couldn't get into the classroom. And I always remind folks that whether students are in the classroom or not in the classroom, they still need access to the internet. Most of their homework is done this way now. And closing and eliminating the homework gap in America goes hand in hand with getting 100% of the country connected with fast, affordable, reliable internet. It's not enough for us just to provide connectivity in every community, but families need to be able to afford it. And as a result of that, we also need to look at some of the rules that even exist at the FCC, where if one house in a neighborhood, for example, has high-speed internet access, then the FCC's rules would determine that that community is connected when they're not, and they're left out. And that happens in big cities as small rural towns across America. So it's not just the investment that we must make across the country to connect unserved and underserved communities. We need to have permanency when it comes to affordability. For me, it's looking at modernizing the Universal Service Fund. And it's also ensuring that students are able to connect even on their school buses. There's a young woman, 16 years of age, that lives out in Counselor, New Mexico, in the Navajo Nation, Helene. It takes her an hour and 45 minutes to get to school. Can you imagine how much homework she could do if that bus had a Wi-Fi hotspot in addition to be able to connect at her home? And I think that's why we need to think about this. We can revolutionize what we're doing in America, give students and families a competitive advantage. We can also close the gap when it comes to access with telemedicine, which we now know because of COVID will provide more support for access for mental and behavioral health. So this is a priority of mine, especially as the chair of the subcommittee on the Commerce Committee that has jurisdiction over all of these areas, working on these issues in the House of Representatives on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and then being a member of the Public Regulation Commission in New Mexico before I was elected, which is the equivalent to public utility commissions across the country. This is a moment that we can meet this challenge, and I'm optimistic that we can.